You're listening to Passages, a podcast about great quotes, life, and the wisdom of the Bible. And now your hosts, Drew Kaiser, Jason Pulliam, and Tim Leighton.
We shall meet, but we shall miss him.
Oh, this song's getting old.
You know, I think this is now 2 times in a row we've played this song.
Yep, 2 episodes in a row. That's right.
I'm afraid that
Tonight
I'm
it's
going to be
Tim.
the next one down. I hope not.
You haven't missed an episode yet, have you?
Not that I know of. No, I did miss one. I can't remember
Oh, yeah,
which
Tim
one.
and I did one without you.
I think it was when I was on vacation. I called in, though.
Oh, yeah. That was our first call-in, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, should we call Tim tonight?
Wait, no, I called in from Peru. Remember we did the
that
episode?
was before we
That
had the
was-
soundboard.
Yeah.
We used Zoom or something like that.
it was really weird, and the sound quality was awful.
Yeah.
But tonight, no Tim Leighton.
Well, it's New Year's Day, you know. A lot of holiday stuff going on. That's what was happening with Tim. And
Yeah, he's had a busy day, I do believe.
I think we deserve credit for just showing up tonight and carrying on without.
I've been
Or-
preparing for this my whole life. I didn't want to miss tonight's episode.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we
This
have
is a big
Patrick
one.
with us, I think.
Producer extraordinaire.
Filling in again.
So we got 3. One of these days we're going to have 4.
We've done that one time.
Yeah.
And when we do it the next time, it will be perfect. We'll be balanced. There's 4 sides of the table.
Hey, speak of the devil,
wait
here he
a minute.
comes.
Oh, is he coming in?
Wait a minute.
Are you going to sit in with us?
Oh,
we already played.
ladies and gentlemen.
Tim just walked in the room. This is great.
Leighton.
This is live television,
Drew,
folks.
can
Oh,
you
man.
play the song "The We Shall Meet Again" backwards now?
I don't know how to do that. Tim, we already played the sad song.
I think if
and
you
it
play
brought you
it,
in.
I think if you play it backwards though, it says something really inappropriate.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not sure.
backmasking.
Yeah, backmasking.
It's
that's right.
satanic.
Yeah, it's like
Andy Griffith run backwards.
Yeah.
Or
I'm trying to. What
embedded
was the,
messages in that.
What was the record that was so famous for that when we were little kids?
Was
I
it a
can
Led
remember-
Zeppelin record that was
I
supposed to
feel
do
like
that?
it was, yeah. And if they're
Stairway
like,
to
if
Heaven?
you play it backwards, it says something about Satan. It's like, who has time to do this?
I don't even know if
Tim,
that was verifiable.
I
great to
just
be here
said
with you,
if we
brethren.
could get all 4 of us, it would be perfect. It is perfect, and by perfect I mean
the
complete.
stars have aligned.
Yeah,
Well,
And-
in addition to being late, I'm highly unprepared, although I have an idea. So,
Well, we have
You know.
something in common tonight.
All right.
yeah. Everyone is unprepared, except for we've been preparing our whole lives for this.
Drew,
moment.
you looked great up front tonight.
Oh, thanks. It was good to
It
be
was
back.
good to
Glad
see him up there. Yeah.
and looking good. And I just want to go on record as saying I'm pro the haircut. You
Really?
may not
I'm
like
a big
it,
fan
but
of
it looks great. From the tight hair community,
Yeah.
we cast our vote in favor of the hairdo. So
Yeah, for
let it grow back as much as you want to, but it's outstanding.
for those who are listening, which is everyone, because we don't have a YouTube channel yet, I got my head skinned for brain surgery.
Well, like half of it.
Well, at first there was half of it. If we had a YouTube channel, I would be putting up the picture of you with only half your hair done.
How much? How much?
I
do you
was going to
think?
come on talking like this.
That would have been great.
Game plan affected my speech.
So very
But,
cyborg. Drew.
I didn't know how to
That
work
was-
it in,
yeah.
so I just
I think you just
I knew there
figured
was
it out.
somewhere
Yeah.
to use that effect one
yeah.
of these days, and so
You know, we've not noticed really. I mean, other than the first day when I saw you on that Friday after you had your second procedure, you were a little out of it that day. I'm not going to lie.
yeah,
Since then, you've looked just like good old Drew with a new haircut.
yeah. There's so many things I want to say, so I got to come back to why you came over to my house,
Oh, so
but I don't want to do that first. 'Cause
No.
that's,
let's jump into the whole.
all right, I want to tell everybody about what I went through because
Yeah.
there may be some people listening who are interested.
And I have questions, lots of questions that I want to
Yeah.
ask.
So Tim, we may not need. I don't know.
Let's
we'll just see
let
what
it
happens.
rip and talk about this. Yeah.
So
This is the most interesting thing we have in our lives right now.
I had a procedure called deep brain stimulation (DBS), and it's to treat Parkinson's, and it's a 2-stage process. So on Wednesday, December the 18th, which is the last recording y'all did,
Mm-hmm.
I went in for the stage 1, which was on the brain, and they put an electrode in the deep part of my brain, the hypothalamus, hence deep brain stimulation, and inserted that. And I had to be awake for part of that procedure.
All right, can we start asking questions here, or
Sure.
do you want to tell the narrative
Break in
first?
with your questions. Yeah.
Okay. So the first question is, I know originally when you talked about this, they were saying no sedation, no anesthesia. Did you
Yes.
get anesthesia during this at any point?
This cuts down on my bragging rights, but yes, I got a little help.
Like
with
in
what
the
they
prep
call
side of it?
twilight
Yeah.
sedation.
Yeah.
The kind of sedation you get in a colonoscopy
Okay.
for our older demographic that may
Or if
have
you
had
date
that
Bill
done.
Cosby.
Okay. Well,
And so I think you mentioned
my.
that.
Okay, maybe
so-
we should probably remove.
so-
I don't know. I
so
like
you
that.
you mentioned, I think, right, that you had some of that anesthesia before and after, and then it
Right.
came out of it in the middle of the process. So take us
They
through
can
that.
bring you up in and out of that pretty quickly. So
So they kind of prepped you under anesthesia?
yes, which I was grateful for that because prep involved screwing a frame to my head
Yeah.
and of course cutting an incision in my
Okay,
scalp
that's what I was going to ask. You were asleep or in
Drilling a
sedation when they
hole.
did that. Yeah.
into my skull and putting the implant into the brain.
Okay, so they did
So
all that
was
while you
all
were
while I
sedated.
was. I don't remember that,
Okay, which is a blessing.
but I wasn't under general anesthesia, so they were able to bring me up out of that pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I came to. It's kind of a strange feeling. Well, it was weird. I never had major surgery before,
Mm-hmm.
but I would imagine that most people who have major surgery don't remember the operating room.
Mm-hmm.
But I was fully awake when I went in the operating room. In fact, they asked me to put myself on the operating table. That was kind of awkward. They
Okay,
That's pretty
that's
normal.
rolled the. Oh,
That's
that is
fairly
normal. Okay,
And then starting a countdown is fairly normal, and then that's
and you
that, know.
forget. Yeah.
Okay, so were you lying on a bed during the procedure, or were
Yes.
you sitting up? Okay.
Lying on a bed, the surgeon was behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And the frame
Working on
was like above you? or-
Yes, around like a crown on my
Okay, gotcha.
head.
And it just held you still, basically.
Right.
Okay.
Because you don't want to
No, you
don't want to
wanna-
sneeze. Like your dad said, don't sneeze.
Yeah, no.
That was
no.
his advice.
And well, as a man that has a trimmer, you
Right.
don't want
It's
to be trimmering
I'm not
while
good at
they're
being still on my
placing
own.
something into the brain.
And don't move.
But this in and out of anesthesia process really only happened because you had a change in surgeon.
That's right. The first surgeon I had, he is anti-anesthesia
And
because
so
he wants you.
you would have been awake for all of those things we just mentioned.
Oh, can you imagine?
and the
them
surgeon that I
drilling on
got
your
is
skull?
new
Oh,
with UAB. She's been there. I learned today she'd been there
2 months.
about 3 months, 2 or 3 months is what that guy said. So I like her approach a lot better. I got to tell you,
makes sense.
they woke me up and I couldn't feel anything, and I was still in that frame. And they ran me through the clinical tests they needed to do to see if they were in the right place.
So tell about that. Tell about what they did there.
So they do clinical tests with Parkinson's patients to see how your symptoms are progressing. Things like touching your nose with your finger and then touching the doctor's finger and touching your nose and moving your hand like you're screwing in a light bulb or tapping your fingers, things like that.
Okay, and that's what they were doing.
Yes,
They
or
asked you
just
to do-
holding your
yeah.
hand out to
Mhm.
watch the trimmer. So they were doing things like that, and they would turn. It was an electrode in my brain, so they had it hooked up to some electricity. This is not technical language, but this is what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So they in effect completed what's now in your body
Yes,
in
yeah.
terms of like the plugging in
At
process
stage
or
one,
whatever.
Would they ramp it up and then watch your
they would dial
symptoms?
it in a number. I heard them say, put it on 1, and they have me do the test. And okay, 2, and even in that state, I was very aware of my symptoms. They told me not to take my medicine that day, so I was full on.
Yeah.
And I was wanting results immediately, and nothing was happening.
Yeah,
But I was trying to stay calm because
yeah.
you know,
Inside
your
you're starting
worst
to
fear
panic.
is like, oh,
Yeah.
went through all this and it's not going to work.
Yeah.
But they got to like a 3, and somewhere in there, 3 or a 4, the tremor stopped.
That's crazy. And you
Completely
were
stopped.
aware of that. Like you're awake
Yes.
enough that you were like, hey, I'm not shaking.
And there were so many people in this room.
Yeah.
I mean, dozens of people. Most of them I could not see.
Because
Are
this
you-
is
you-
part of a
You
research.
said dozens?
It sounded like
I mean,
that.
yeah.
Just
Probably a dozen,
Yeah.
maybe.
wow.
And this is all
Doctors,
part of a
researchers.
research program, right? That you're
Yeah, a
doing.
lot of students were
Yeah.
in the room.
Yeah.
There was a girl with a camera on me the whole time. That's the first thing I saw when I woke up, was somebody with a
Well,
camera.
I hope you put your gown on the right way.
Like at your face?
She was at the foot of the bed, just right there. And
If you could get that footage, that would be pretty cool.
I don't
think
don't
it-
want to see it.
I think it would be cool to see the trimmer stop, though.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Well,
I mean, I know we
But you
will
said
in
you
like
said
2 more
when
weeks.
something about the way the room reacted when it stopped, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there was like some
there was some
audible
celebration.
reaction, right? You know,
Yeah, and
that's so
they
cool.
felt really good about it. And once they saw that effect, then they dropped me back out, closed me up, and I woke up in recovery. And so I spent that night in the hospital, had a pretty bad headache, didn't sleep much, went home the next day. That was a Thursday.
hey, before you leave Wednesday,
Yeah, I have a question
Um,
too about Wednesday.
tell the story about the massage you got.
Oh, yeah, that's a good. Well, when I had been awake and they were doing the clinical test, they asked me, "Are you all right, Mr. Kaiser? How are you feeling?" And I said, "Well, I'm fine, except my neck is killing me. I had this big frame on my head, and I've been in the same position for a long time, so my neck is killing me." And somebody started rubbing my neck, and I heard him say, "How's that? Is that better?" And I said, "Yeah, that feels great." And the next day, the surgeon came in to talk to me and asked me how I did. And I said, "Well, I remember my neck hurting." She said, "Yeah, you got a back rub, didn't you?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "That was a world-renowned neurologist rubbing your neck."
That's pretty cool.
She said, "He's a pretty big deal."
Yeah.
So
That's one of those like claim to fame tidbits that you get to use as an icebreaker for the rest of your life. One of the people in the room received a massage from a world renowned neurosurgeon. Anybody?
yeah, who in here?
So I have a question. When they brought you out of the anesthesia the first time and you had the frame on,
Mhm.
okay, you knew going into it they were going to put you in the frame.
Yeah.
Did you feel claustrophobic at all with that? That would be so weird to wake up and have something
Not be able to move.
physically attached to your head. Like I would panic.
Yeah, I
You
didn't-
had a sense of calm.
I was
about
aware of it, but
Yeah.
I
didn't
didn't feel
bother you.
claustrophobic.
it. Okay,
I had no anxiety
that's really
through the
cool.
whole thing.
That's great.
I thought I would. I had a lot more anxiety leading up to it and imagining what it would be like.
Mm-hmm.
But they're really, really great over at UAB. They make you comfortable. They keep it upbeat, and they keep you busy while you're awake. You're doing stuff. You're not
Yeah.
just sitting there thinking about what's happening.
It's crazy.
All right.
So-
So you started recovering and you had the headache you had to deal with.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I spent the night in the hospital. Next day, went home. And they do the second stage in a different hospital.
the headache lasts the next couple of days or,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. 2 or 3 days.
So even like when you went back for the other procedure, your head was still hurting.
Oh, yeah. But
I
I was
mean,
on pain meds.
yeah.
I mean, they drilled a hole in his head.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think it's a well-deserved headache.
Yeah. right.
Actually, the more painful part was the frame where they put the screws in. That's
yeah.
what really swelled my
You
head
know,
up.
it was cool how quickly that healed up, though. Like, you can't even see the marks where they had that.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. Because
Yeah.
we're talking a week ago, right?
2 weeks.
2 weeks ago. Okay.
For the folks who haven't seen your thing on Facebook, tell them about your laptop.
Oh, yeah. I was so swelled up, my laptop didn't recognize me. Everything's facial recognition these days. And I've had this machine for a few years and I've forgotten the pin. And so I tried to open up my laptop to do a little work and it didn't know who I was. And I thought, oh, come on.
That's probably a sign you still needed a rest.
Well, I know when I saw
Yeah.
you that first day, your forehead was really swollen and you were bruised down on the sides of your face.
Did you see me on Thursday?
I saw you Friday.
Yeah, okay. So let's talk about Friday. Friday morning, early, first thing in the morning, got up, went back to the hospital, different part of UAB. They did this surgery at Callahan Eye Foundation,
Which is
that's going to be
interesting.
important later on.
It is.
Callahan Eye Foundation, they have 16 operating rooms in that facility, and they do 60% eye surgery, 40% other
Head and neck
all-
surgery. Yeah.
Well, they do hysterectomies. They do all
I
kinds
didn't
of
know that. I knew they did upper torso, head, neck kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but-
they do all kinds of things. So you gotta
Well, it'd be weird to have a hysterectomy and find
Gotta
out
wa-
you're going to do it at the eye foundation.
You watch that guy with the marker, make sure he
Yeah.
marks the right body part.
That's exactly right.
So they signed my chest where they were going to put the battery, and that's stage 2. They insert, we call it a battery, but it's the device that delivers the electricity to the implant in your head, and it goes in your chest right under your collarbone. And they also tunnel a wire from the implant in your head down your neck, over your collarbone, into the battery in your chest.
Pause there.
Yeah,
When
we
you say,
want to hear about this
because we
procedure-
talked
part of
about
the
this
procedure, yeah.
the day you had your first surgery. When you say they tunnel, I picture them taking this thing that's like a little tiny surgical PVC thing, and they push it underneath the skin, and then they run the wiring through that.
It's
Almost-
something like that. You're familiar with fishing tape, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That you run wire with.
Through a wall.
That's a crude analogy.
Yeah.
It has a scalpel on the end of it that cuts as it goes, and it
So
pushes
you've
that
got
wire
some kind of
through.
lead that's
Yes.
making its way through.
And it pushes the wire, and then you pull the lead out at the end and leave the wire in.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty sore in my neck where they ran that wire.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That was the most pain that I had, more than the head.
So,
Now, does it still bother you at all now? Like when you turn your head and stuff like that? Do you
Yeah,
notice
it's still
anything
it's
with
still
it?
a little sore.
Yeah.
But it's not a big deal.
what about your chest? Does that bother you?
That's still sore. But it's the feeling of having something in there
Hmm.
that it's weird when
Can you-
something
can
comes
you
up
feel-
against
Can
it.
you feel it topically? I mean, like
Yes.
when you touch it, you feel it.
Like you guys, if you felt it, you'd feel like something in my shirt pocket.
Okay, like there's a raised area there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to feel it?
Not right this second.
yeah,
okay.
take that sweater off.
I thought about doing that tonight, and I was going to show y'all, but there's too many. It's winter, and I got too
Yeah,
many
you got
clothes
too many
on
layers on.
for a demonstration.
I'm not ready to see that.
Yeah. Well,
Sure.
Okay, I am.
you ought to see the shave I've got.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very interesting.
If it's anything like what they did to your head, I bet it is interesting.
Oh, we didn't talk about that. That they only shaved half my head.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, why didn't y'all just go ahead and finish me
I-
The
off?
I-
first
will
picture
say-
I got of you, it's like, oh, wow.
So I sent a picture that Julie sent to me to Jason, and I'm like, he is going to shave the other side of that head. isn't he?
It's like looking at Two-Face from the Batman
The Batman.
series. Yeah.
What they don't tell you is if they shave the other side, it's another $10,000.
Yeah, that's an expensive haircut.
Yeah.
I'll go to Great Clips.
Right,
Thanks
right.
a lot.
Yeah.
They know
Yeah.
how to shave a head.
That's right. So that was under general anesthesia, and it was a pretty simple process. Except at the Callahan Eye Foundation, the worst problem I had when I woke up was my eye was on fire. One of my eyes was just killing me. It felt like something was in it.
Wasn't even the side that you had worked on. It was the
No.
left side. Yeah.
So, they asked me, they want to know, Mr. Kaiser, are you okay? Well, my eyes, I had tears just running out that eye. I could not open it. They bring a doctor up from the ER, and he looks at it with is it a UV light or some kind of blue
Yeah,
light?
It's a blue light. A
He's
cobalt
like, yeah,
light.
you got a corneal abrasion. And I said, in the eye foundation?
It's a good place to
did
have
you
it, I guess.
Scratch the eye on the opposite side of my head you were working on. You're not even
I'm
supposed to
telling
be
you,
working on the head
they
at
didn't,
all.
They didn't tape you down good during anesthesia. That's the only thing that makes sense.
And
What do you
man,
think-
it was.
What
Well,
would
you
he have
dry.
brushed up
You
against, or-
dry out, and the lid sticks to the eye, and then when you open up,
Oh.
it creates an erosion or an abrasion.
So what are you supposed to do?
Tape
Tape?
it down closed. Yeah, put some gel in or drops in and tape it closed.
Why? I mean, when you're under, your eyes are closed anyway, or they stay open?
They're open. Yeah, most of the time they'll be open. You have to-
Really?
they'll almost all. Yeah, you see it if you watch videos of people under
That's
anesthesia. They're
creepy.
taping your eye.
I have
down.
not done that.
Huh.
Well, you should.
I don't watch surgeries on
Yeah,
YouTube.
no.
No way.
I watched his surgery,
Did
a
you?
version of your surgery on YouTube, right before you had it.
So
Does everything I say track with what
Except
you saw?
for the one I saw, they had the person sitting up while they were working on them. So that was a little bit different.
So is the relaxed position of your eyelid open then?
If you're put into like anesthesia, yeah, it's just gonna settle where it settles. You're totally relaxed.
So it might.
So
settle
your
close, but
muscles
it's
that
not
close
settle
your
open.
eyes are a muscles.
It just stops moving though.
Yeah, and so it's just
Okay.
going to do what it does. But
It's
most
like when you
people are going
die.
to end up being open. Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean that's
that's-
why they put the quarter over and pull your eyes down.
Okay.
Pay the ferryman.
But what'll happen is you dry out and the lid sticks to it, and then when you open your eye, it just makes this nice
rips.
linear abrasion across the
Wow.
cornea.
It's not nice. It's
Oh,
nasty.
it's a nice if you look at it. It's kind of almost a smile
So
shape.
what'd you have to do about that?
Well, our friend Dr. Pullum
Oh, yeah,
made
there
a
we
house
go.
call.
Mhm.
Yeah, I did.
They weren't
Wait
gonna
till you
help
see
me.
the
They were
bill for
like-
that.
I said, "Can you give me some numbing drops?" No, it wouldn't heal very fast. You just have to deal with it.
Well, that was the message I got from Julie was, "Hey doc, is there any numbing drops you can give Drew to get him through?" And I was like, "Well, no, because if you use those, it's not going to heal, and you can actually make it worse. I mean, you can use them a couple of times, but you can't use them enough because they only last like 15 minutes, 20 minutes,
Yeah.
and you'd mess the eye up pretty bad." It's like, but I can come by and fix him if he's awake enough. I can come by and fix him.
And he was my knight in
And
shining
so
armor.
we
So
just,
what'd
we
you
just
do
throw
to
a
fix?
bandage contact on it. Just put a contact that covers
put a
the
soft-
abrasion and keeps his
soft
eyelid
contact
from
on it?
sticking to it.
So do you have like hospital privileges, or was this?
No, I did
No, he
that at
came
his
to the
house.
house. It was after
Okay.
they
Guys,
sent me
when
home
I
like
got
that.
there, I was really worried because Julie let me in and everybody was being quiet. And Drew is lying on the couch with the blanket up under his chin and his hands
Yes.
right here. And I thought, oh no, he might not need this bandage contact.
Is he dead?
And he was just out. I mean, he was sleeping. The poor guy just had
Yeah.
surgery.
Twice.
And Julie went and shook him, and you could tell he was kind of still a little sluggish and out of it. But we sat him up, popped a contact on, problem
Man, it
solved.
was immediate
So do you still
relief.
have
And then
that
Monday,
in,
I
or-
took it back
Okay,
off.
so
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Monday
had-
it came off.
I came back
I was
on
a
Monday. and
baby.
took
I
it off.
tried to take it out on my own. I couldn't have. I had to call Jason.
Guy
come
who
take
wore
a contact
contacts
out of
half
me.
his life, and it was like, you can take this out on your own if you want. And he couldn't get it. Julie
I wore the
couldn't
gas
get it.
perms
That's true.
where you just
Well, Julie
pull
wore
the side of
Julie
your
wore
eyelid
the
and it
soft
pops out.
ones, and she was like, "I think I can get it off." But I came back, got it out of there, which is not a pleasant thing because in the office when I take him out, I do it at the microscope and use forceps just to lift it off. It's pretty quick. Well, I had to kind of dig around in his eye, and he was being a little bit of a baby,
I might have hollered a little bit.
but we
I
got
was
it
kinda
out
in
and
a
he felt
joking
better.
mood, though.
I mean,
You,
he did
you were
just have brain
feeling
surgery.
10 times better that day.
Yeah.
I did when I walked in that Friday afternoon, though. I thought, my buddy, I don't think he made it. I'm like, Julie,
Yeah, I
is he
was- I was-
breathing?
I
Do
was
you
in
have a
pretty bad
mirror?
shape.
He was holding like a tulip.
I was
just
like,
this.
yeah.
He
I was
was-
like, can I get a? At first, I thought, is he messing with me? And then I was like,
I
no,
couldn't
he's
open my
still out of
eye.
it.
I don't think I was asleep.
Oh,
I think
you
I was
were
just
out.
trying to deal with the pain.
But
it was
that's
worse
when
than
your
any of the
face was
surgery
so
pain.
your head was so swollen that day,
Yeah.
and you were and even
Looked like
Monday
that
you were
elephant man.
bruised kind of down like through here. You were kind of that deep.
I'm not an animal.
Yeah,
I'm a human being.
it was interesting to see it. I was like, man, this was a rough surgery.
Yeah.
But then when I saw you Monday, you were joking and kind of cutting up, and I was like, all right, my buddy's back. We're okay.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's talk about. So when they sent you home, the device is turned on a little
At
bit.
a low, very low setting.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so
They just
what's
check
the impact? What's the impact of that so far?
Well, I thought I was getting a little benefit from it. The medicine creates a side effect called dyskinesia, which is another unwanted body movement that's different from the Parkinson's tremors and almost as bad.
Mm-hmm.
You choose the lesser of two evils. You take the medicine so you can move and not shake a certain way, but it causes you to have this dyskinetic movement that's very uncomfortable also. And the first several days after surgery, I had no dyskinesia, but I also was not moving around much. And I don't feel like my medicine was working really well because my stomach was kind of asleep. And when I started waking up from all the anesthesia and stuff, it's kind of gone back to the way it was.
okay.
Maybe not quite so bad, but that's, they weren't expecting me to have any positive results.
I mean,
at
I was
this
watching.
setting.
We had a discussion, and you talked about having got some relief in that area, and I was watching you tonight, and it didn't seem, as pronounced as it is sometimes.
Really?
Right?
Like you
but-
walking.
I felt
with your
I
walking.
felt a
I didn't
little
like it.
better. I was
Yeah.
I was evaluating that too
Yeah.
as I was up there because I'd been looking forward to getting up there and teaching class and
Yeah.
seeing how
I
my
noticed
body
it just
responded
that with
to
you
it.
walking up there, the dyskinesia wasn't as bad as it,
Yeah.
it sometimes is. Of course,
Julie,
I don't know
Julie
what time
thought
you
she
took your
noticed a
meds.
difference in my gait.
Yeah, that's
She
what
said
I'm
she thought it
talking
was
about.
better. I said, was it, what are you saying? Was it bad before?
Not
Are you
bad.
saying
It was
I'm
just noticeable?
look funny?
Well, you
What were
looked
you
funny
saying?
years ago before you had Parkinson's.
That's
so.
true.
You showed me when I came over that Monday to take that lens back out. You showed me your remote control. Can you tell us about the remote
yeah.
control?
So I have a remote control for this device, and they lock it into a window so you can't go crazy with it, and kill yourself, fry your brain.
Which is good.
But
Probably a
you
good
know,
idea.
they'll when I go in January 15th to get the device programmed, that's when they'll set a window on that device, say from levels 2 to 5, you know,
Mhm.
and they'll optimize it while I'm there. But if I get home and I feel like I need a little more or a little less, I have a little control over that.
That's cool. Now, when Julie leaves the house, does she like
Right before she walks
alarm
out.
you, arm you so that you're good
I guess
for the
she
day?
could use that if we get into a fight or something.
Yeah, just
You go turn me
Powers you
off.
down.
So
That would be cruel.
Do you have
though,
any,
and she
would
would
be
never
mean.
do that.
do you
No.
have any idea yet what too low or too high means as you would adjust?
Well,
it?
that's a good question. There are side effects to everything. So there is an equilibrium you're looking for. And in surgery, when they were testing it, they kept going, they wanted to see how high they could go. And I remember they got to like a 5 and said, Mr. Kaiser, you feel anything? And my jaw went like that. My
Yeah. I
left
think
side of my face.
think this is where we need to
pulled.
stop.
I was like, well, my lip is pulling over to the side.
Yeah.
I think we're about to lose Jason for a minute or two. Come back. We'll still be here. Jason needs to take a little break. So yeah, and there are other side effects. Maybe with your speech. They asked me one time if I felt any tingling.
Mhm.
I don't remember ever feeling that.
Have you had any discussion with your friends about them adjusting it at all, or?
Yes. This one person that's helped me a lot, she told me that when she went in for the programming, she didn't see any results till the 12th setting. And I'm glad she told me that, because I'm going in looking for something to happen right away.
Sure.
And if I got to 12, I would have been really discouraged probably. But hearing her say that,
Like power level 12?
no,
Like your
there-
3 or?
so this electrode, I'm not sure I fully understand it, but this electrode has points on it, like the points on a. You're gonna have to help me with some language here, Patrick. Like the thing I plug into my computer. What do you call that?
Like prongs?
You know, the
Pins.
pins.
Okay,
That's the word I
pins.
was looking for. So it has things like pins all around it that will activate different parts of the brain. You know, it's in that deep part of the brain, but there are different pins,
Mhm.
and so they can send the voltage out.
Oh, different
Pins.
I got you.
And there are like 9 different combinations, or
Now-
more than that.
Now, when she said not until they got to the 12th setting, that was all in this one appointment that she
Yes.
went to, and because they're going to try to tune it in a lot of different ways, right? So and then they'll put you through the battery of testing, somewhat like they did during the surgery, right? Where they're trying to figure out where they get to the
Yeah.
optimum point.
I imagine it's going to be a long,
That'll be a
somewhat
long day.
grueling
Yeah.
appointment, but there will be the excitement of going home that day with the benefits.
Right.
And I don't even know. I would imagine I would go without my medication. That's going to be the best way to. But they also want to see how it acts with my medication. So we may have to do it off medication. Then I take my meds, wait on them to start working,
Right.
and who knows when that'll happen.
Now, your friend, has she ever? So like, they came to that setting for her, right? Setting number 12. This seems to work for you, and they send her home.
Mm-hmm.
Has she ever adjusted hers on her own?
On her own, and she's gone in for adjustments.
Okay.
You just have to do that. The disease progresses, but the device will allow for adjustments. So
Right, your body's going to change and you adjust with it. Gotcha.
there's the promise of long-term benefits
Mhm.
and with less side effects than the medication gives you. And I'll still be on medication. That's a
Right.
question I get a lot. People want me to come off the medication, but the thing is, I don't have dopamine in my brain anymore. And there's no way of getting around needing some chemicals to reproduce that healthy state, or as close as we can get to that healthy state of dopamine levels.
Now, are you still thinking that you may be able to reduce the amount of medication, or is the medication
Maybe.
But I mean, it's going to be whatever's most effective, right? I mean,
Right. And I don't mind taking it if I don't have these dyskinesias, which the device will help with that.
Right.
So if I have to take medicine and then the device will help the side effects of the medicine,
So be it, right?
yeah. I mean, hey, whatever we need to do to keep me active and going, that's what I want to do.
So in 2029, I guess, technically, you got to go get a battery change.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
I'll have
pop
to go.
out the double A's and put 2 new ones in.
Yeah, something like that. Unfortunately, I don't have like little anchor screw. It's skin they got to
Yeah.
cut through and pull that thing out.
But that sounds a lot less drastic than, I mean, they don't have to do the brain part again.
Right, and the wire's already there, and so
Wire's
no
already there.
tunneling.
Yeah. So you
It'd
just have
just
the
be a
discomfort
quick-
right here.
Just a
Yeah,
Yeah.
minor procedure, which means they're not doing it on me, right? I mean,
right. The old saying.
That's,
That's right.
all right.
Yeah. Well, you want to talk about something else? What else you got?
I'm trying to think if I've got any other questions because this is so interesting.
Yeah, I've
It's
talked
just-
about it so much. I don't know. I feel like I'm boring people, but for people hearing it the
No,
first time,
no,
it's
we're just-
fascinating.
It is. It's just
We were talking
it's
about
incredible.
this science fiction book in our social media class tonight at church, where people have implants in their brains, and it was funny to me as I was talking about this book I read years ago that I actually have an implant in my brain now.
And I'm assuming this was material that you referenced in your book that
In
you've
2018,
written, right?
yeah.
2018, and here you are presenting it.
And I knew about the surgery then, but I was so far away from it then.
Yeah.
I didn't think about, hey, this is not that far fetched. I'm looking at a future in which I will have an implant in my.
Yeah, which is just amazing. When I a lot of my friends know you, and I was telling some family about the procedure today, and we're all just, just a regular person with very limited medical knowledge. Just the idea that they can go find the precise part of your brain that controls anything,
Mm-hmm.
much less that controls a particular problem that you're having, it's just
And why does it volt
it's
of
hard to fathom.
why does electricity help it? I mean, I don't understand how it
Your
works.
brain runs on electricity.
Yeah,
It
but
makes its own electricity.
it's just
Yeah, it's cool.
crazy.
It is, but it's awesome. And,
Yeah, I'm glad it's there. I
we're
am.
excited about it.
Appropriate time to plug your new book.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
let's
you,
do that.
Patrick. Very soon. I don't have an exact release date because we're waiting on the printer for this, but I'm expecting mid-January. My book on chronic illness, Sufficient Grace, will be available through Riddle Creek Publishing. And you can get that at riddlecreekpublishing.com or Amazon.
I think it's already available on Amazon.
Well, yeah, it is. You can get it on Amazon now.
Okay. Yeah, mine will be here on Friday.
Patrick just ordered it.
That's the reason that you think it's available.
Right. Amazon
Yeah,
says it'll
the
be here
official
Friday.
release date has not come yet, but for those who
If you-
are
if you want
internet
a pre-
savvy as Patrick is,
If you want a pre-release copy.
yeah, that's a pre-release copy,
Yeah.
There you go.
special pre-release.
Mm-hmm.
So when did it say it would be here? This is Wednesday,
Friday. I ordered
Friday.
it on,
So
like,
you get the
Sunday or
prime
something.
deal.
Mhm.
That's good.
So I wanted to throw out if we're ready to talk about something a little different.
Yeah.
So here we are, January 1st, right?
Happy New Year.
A little hard to believe that it's 25 years since Y2K.
Mhm.
In some ways,
It just,
in some
'cause,
ways, it seems like,
think
but so
back,
much has changed since then.
there is, right?
That was a different world,
it was.
completely different world.
If for people that have either forgotten about it or were too young
Never
to
heard of
remember
it.
or whatever, right? So, the whole deal with Y2K was so many things in our world had been built. There may have been other reasons related to this, but so many things were built on a two-digit year, right?
Mhm.
That, it's 1977 or it's 1987. And so many things in the technology world were built around those two-digit years, right?
Right. We didn't use the 19.
Right.
You didn't have to. You
Right.
said 85. They knew which 85 you were talking about.
Exactly. And when the and a lot of things in technology need to know that, like, this date A is before date B, or vice versa. And so as they started getting into the 90s, this imminent problem of what happens when these numbers flip over to 00 come into play, and a whole lot of the logic that's built into small technology, large technology, billing systems, chips,
Security.
so many, just everything, right?
Banking.
Banking, the traffic signal out here, so
Everything.
many things, there was we've got to go figure out. And it became, I would call it a cottage industry, but it was a lot bigger than a cottage. This whole industry of, we've got to remediate for Y2K. We've got to, everything that's out here, we've got to go check and see, is it going to stop working on January 1st, 2000? And so, the company that I was working for, I mean, we were hiring people left and right. I mean, if you were in the technology world, and particularly if you were like a contractor or whatever, I mean, you probably made enough money for a lifetime,
There was a
except
lot
you
of
probably
money being
invested
made.
it and then lost it all or whatever. So, but I mean, there's a lot of work done and a lot of money made, and everybody was like, bracing for what happens on January 1st, when it flips over, and, we all had our, batteries bought up, and, our kits and all that
Guns.
ready,
People sold a lot of guns.
right? And
We
so-
had tons of
They're ready
water.
for looters.
Sorry, I had to
Tons
step
of
out.
water,
Small
right.
emergency.
right,
Taken care
because
of.
I mean, what's going to
Nothing
happen?
to be ashamed of.
What's going to happen to water meters and
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
just
had
everything,
gallons
right?
and gallons and
You know,
gallons of water.
Right.
stored
What's
in
going to
our
happen
basement.
to the distribution of gas and
Yes.
everything?
People were
right?
hoarding gas.
Yeah. And so,
That's right.
it turned out that a lot of that work that was done sort of turned it into somewhat of a non-event. I mean, I
Yeah.
know that there were systems that had problems, and, but there was a ton of work done, I would say, for at least 5 years before. I mean, it was Katie bar the door. The date for this project's not changing, because it's going to be 2000, and stuff's going to happen.
It's not like the debt ceiling.
It's not like, it's not like or any other project we have in the technology world that we may have to slide this 6 months. Well, you're not sliding Y2K 6 months. It's going to be here. And so,
Right.
it was a big deal. And some of this came back to mind by it being 25 years later, but also because right before the holidays, I was talking to one of my friends who still works on some of the systems that I used to work on during that time. And she was telling me that they are currently working a defect from Y2K. It's 25
What?
years old, but I think they had made some assumptions about maybe 25 years later or whatever. And I don't know if the assumption was that the systems wouldn't still be here, which, is, entirely possible, right? Because, but I work in telecommunications, and so a lot of these old systems are too, particularly when we're beginning to bring things down, are too pricey to replace and upgrade and do a lot of those things too. And so a lot of them are still around. It's interesting that at least the way my company handled Y2K, and Patrick knows a lot about other kinds of technology, so he may have something else to share here. But you had to think about, I mentioned that 2-digit year, right?
Yeah.
So the answer wasn't necessarily just to take the 2-digit year and make a 4-digit year. Because if you did that, you had to go find every file everywhere and do database conversions and do file conversions and we're talking about millions and millions of files probably in a single company. And so in a lot of cases, what we did was we built this, what we called a subroutine or something special that if you were dealing with a date, you called this and it would tell you, if I remember it right, it said, if the date is 64 or greater, it's really 1964.
Mm-hmm.
If it's less than that, it's 2000 and whatever.
That buy you like 64 years.
Right.
Yeah,
Buys
yeah.
you 64 years. Here's the interesting thing. We've almost eaten up half of that, and some of those systems are still here.
Yep.
Right. And so, like I'm saying, the systems that we're talking about are going to come down. But what's the likelihood that they could last another 37 years?
Seems like they would have been replaced.
It's pretty possible that there will be some stuff out there, and they're going to have to figure out how to deal with that workaround that they did so that they didn't have to go convert just files out the wazoo, right? And I'm sure that 64 that they came up with, they probably had some industry groups that decided, all right, if you're not gonna convert all your files and you're gonna build a little subroutine that tells you whether this is 19 or 2000, what's sort of the best way we should go? And they came up with, all right, this buys us so long. What will still be here that we're working on in 1995 in 2064? But the answer is there may be some stuff.
There's a good chance that some of that technology are going to outlast the four of us in this room.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because 37 years,
surprising.
I'm thinking at that
The way
point,
things have
I'm punching a
changed.
ticket probably.
Yeah. I mean,
It's 82 for me.
I'm working on some of the same systems today as a user more than in the IT world, but some of the same systems that I worked on the day that I walked into the phone company in 1988 are still cranking along, and they're large, expensive mainframe systems that would cost too much to replace and have a limited shelf life going forward, but they might last another 10 years.
Y'all still have a fax machine, don't you?
You better believe it.
We still use it. Medical practices still transmit a lot of
too.
stuff by
Oh,
fax.
but-
I don't understand it.
We just got rid of all the physical faxes and just bought like a e-fax solution, and you send an email now and they handle the faxing.
I like that.
We don't have to maintain the phone lines and all that mess.
It's an interesting thing.
But anyhow, I just
Instead
thought,
of saying 25 years, though, you should say that it happened a quarter of a century ago. That makes it sound that much older.
Yeah, I
A
tried
quarter,
this one. I tried
one
this one.
quarter of a century.
I tried this one today. We're as far away from the year 2000 as the year 2000 was from 1975. How does that make you feel? Right? I mean,
Wasn't
that's-
born.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Speaking of 1975, if I'm not mistaken, Carter, was that when he was president?
76.
76. We lost Carter today or this week. Jimmy Carter at the age of 100.
100.
He passed. They're still doing the autopsy to decide what it was that took him. I think it's old age.
I'm on the edge of my
I'm
seat.
thinking that it's 100 is the
I
answer.
still am convinced that he died during the election.
I was going to say he was dead
They
when he
just
voted.
announced it now. So, but that's let's see. Now the living presidents we have that are still here are Bill Clinton, George W. and Barack Obama. Correct? Am I missing
Yeah.
anybody in there?
Joe Biden.
Trump.
He's still president. We
Well,
got
then
it's
Donald
a
Trump
Trump.
is
Yeah,
Trump's
Trump.
about
45.
Trump. Yeah,
to
Trump,
be again.
Trump, and then Biden.
All right, so here's interesting, right? Let's try to guess who we think is. Let's go age oldest to youngest for those including Trump and Biden. All right, who's
Biden's
the
the
oldest?
oldest.
Biden's the
Biden's
oldest.
Biden's the oldest.
Then Trump.
Okay, so we're giving
Clinton, where
Then
is
Trump.
Clinton?
No,
though?
Clinton
Clinton's
may
gotta be
be
in his
over
80s.
Trump.
What about W? W's got to be older than Clinton, right?
I think W's still in
No.
his early 70s.
I mean, we've got the
I think
All right, who's older? Before we
Worldwide
get the
leader.
answer,
Obama's
before
the
we-
youngest.
Before we go look it up, yeah, Obama would be 5, right, out of the
Yeah.
group.
I think it
W-
goes Biden.
Trump.
I think it goes Biden, Clinton,
You think
Trump.
Clinton?
I'm with Jason on that.
Biden, Clinton, Trump,
Trump.
W. Obama.
I think I'm with Patrick that I think that Trump is older than Clinton. All right, let's see if we can figure it out.
Are you doing the number
You're
crunch?
doing the interweb net.
So Biden's age is 82.
82.
That's
Okay.
well documented.
Trump's
Clinton age is
Age.
78.
Clinton is 78.
That's
Okay.
the same age as
Trump
Trump.
is also 78.
Ooh,
August 19th for Clinton.
June 14th for
Oh, so Trump is a
Trump
couple of
is
months older. Wow.
All right. And what about W and Obama?
I'll
W, he's older than
I'll
Obama
I'll
for
get
sure.
Obama. Obama's
George-
63.
W 78, July 6th, 1946.
They're all 78, and we're
Oh,
June, they were June, July.
three
W
of them the
78.
same age.
Yep. So Trump is older than W and Clinton. W by a month, Clinton by a couple of months.
Wow.
I really thought W was younger than that.
Well, he's well preserved
Well, I think there's been
for
some
his age.
I think there's been some work done, perhaps.
And
I think parts of
Really?
his face probably. Yeah, I'm
You
looking
don't
at a
see him as
look.
much
I'm
as the
looking
other
at
guys.
a picture
he,
of him. He's had Botox at least, maybe
he
some lip
really
fillers.
went back into the shadows. You know, he
Well,
doesn't
he had
make
to
a whole lot
focus
of
on
public
his
statements.
art.
Yeah, he's painting now.
He's quite an artist. I think him.
And then-
If I'm not mistaken, him and Biden's son are getting together on an art project.
Oh, let's hope not.
and then Obama's
Worth
15
billions
years
in the
younger
Ukraine.
than
Yeah.
all of them.
Wow.
It's interesting. And
Some would say Obama is still running the show.
some
Some.
would say that.
I
That's
didn't
right.
say that.
Didn't say it, but
I'd
Some would
have to
say.
turn my phone off before I would say anything like
There-
that.
There's only been 2 presidents who were between the age of 40 and 44 when they assumed office.
Obama.
Kennedy
I think Kennedy and Obama.
mhm.
and
then
Grover
And then
Cleveland.
there's been one who was 75 in the 75 to 79, I think was Biden, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then one who was 70 to 74, which I think was
Trump.
and so
when
when Trump-
assuming
so
office.
when Trump-
Reagan was
so-
Reagan was 70 when he was elected. Because people were when he ran for re-election, he was 74, I think, and people were saying he was too old.
Mhm.
Okay, well maybe he's the 70 to 74 on this because that's when he's assuming office.
and really
Maybe.
when
Yeah,
I mean, and the question might be, was he, right? Because there's still discussion about late in his second term that
yeah,
he
they're
was beginning to have some issues.
slipping a little
right?
bit.
Mhm.
Now, but when Trump comes out of this next term, he'll be Biden's age.
82. Yeah.
Right? He'll be 82.
Right.
And so
And things can happen quickly
they
at that
sure
age.
can. They sure can.
I mean, he seems fine right now, but
Yeah, Reagan was 69 and 349 days the day he took office
Okay.
in 1981. So he was basically 70.
70. Right.
yeah.
Jimmy Carter was 52.
So the question is, why is it that we keep electing all these nearly 80-year-olds? I mean,
A lot of it's just name recognition,
I
I'm
guess so.
afraid.
But it's like these guys go to Washington outside of Trump. These guys go to Washington, and I would say Obama. He was kind of like just showed up out of nowhere. But most of our presidents have been in politics for 40 years,
Mhm.
30 years before they ever get elected. That's just crazy.
This may be famous last words, but I sort of feel like after these 4 years for Obama, that maybe there'll be a swing back to more.
mean Trump?
I mean, after Trump, there'll be a swing back more to like a younger
Yeah.
person like an Obama or
Yeah.
whatever, right? Because
It seems like there has been a little bit of a pendulum shift in that, maybe swinging back the other way.
yeah,
Because you look at the other guys that were running for candidacy, especially on the Republican side, you had Vivek, who's young.
The Republicans have a
good young
deep bench.
stable. Yeah.
The reason Joe Biden got in to begin with is the Democrats didn't have anybody else to run.
Yeah.
They still don't seem to have an all-star.
You know who in polls is the favored person for them to have running in 4 years is Kamala again.
That is.
I read an article
incredible.
about that the other day.
That. Yeah. That's got to be a name recognition thing.
It has to be. Somebody will come
I
along.
don't see how that could be true.
Mm-mm.
Now,
I
Jason,
wouldn't put it past her to run again, though.
Yeah.
But she'll have to overcome.
She'll have to actually have a primary.
Right. And she'll have to overcome 4 years of being out of the spotlight unless she goes and runs for something else, right? I mean, what will she do the next 4 years? She's not going to be.
She could do what Trump did the last 4 years. She could try. I don't think she's got a chance to run again. She won't get the money.
Right.
There's a lot of donors who are upset.
Right.
Not only that she lost, but how much money she spent. She went into debt.
And she had $1 billion to spend.
Yeah.
And she went into debt $20 million.
Yeah.
And yet we let these people run the government.
As the kids say, she's cooked.
Now, Jason, you had an interesting Freudian slip a second ago.
Uh-oh, what did I say?
You said swift when you were talking about the pendulum swinging.
Yeah.
Are we in favor
Is it time
of
for Swifty to run for president?
I mean, should Taylor Swift be president?
I'll be packing
I hate
up
to
and
say
headed
it,
to
but
another
she'd
country.
win. She would win.
No way.
She probably would not have the job, but well, you talk about mobilizing.
She wouldn't have to do a debate or anything. She'd just say, "Vote Taylor."
It'd be more like a battle for SGA president, but she would.
A lot of
probably
handmade
win.
poster boards in the hall. Yeah. We'll bring back Wear Pajama Day.
Free concert to everyone who votes for me.
Man, that just made my stomach turn.
2028. Let's do it together.
You said it.
Oh, man.
It wasn't me.
Oh, that's scary. I mean, the drone aliens are going to get us long before that happens. So
we may not be able to put this episode out into the universe with that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody
A
got
little
time
late
for
on
it.
that, but
between that and you saying after Obama's next 4 years, if we were live, like we would be shutting down all news outlets. I can hear they're breaking in.
Well, maybe
we've just got something in my ear. Hold on a second.
Maybe
Producers are talking.
Obama is going to tell Trump what to do for the next 4 years.
I don't think anybody tells Trump what to do, unfortunately. He needs, or he doesn't listen. They may tell him, but he don't listen.
On the list of people who have never been told no.
Yeah.
Unless they're both in the Illuminati.
Oh.
welcome back if you stayed with us. If you didn't, you're not hearing this. We're glad that you're here, and we are ready for our next passage. Getting the new year started right with a little Lewis Carroll. I believe this was in Alice in Wonderland. Everybody around here knows Lewis Carroll, right? Big Lewis Carroll fans. Huge Lewis Carroll fans.
I went to see the play that I think Jonathan was backstage, right? And they did Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
And
you saw it like 4 times, didn't you?
I saw it like 4 times, and it got weirder every time.
But it was actually Alice in Wonderland, or was it about Alice in Wonderland?
It was Alice in Wonderland.
Did you go down the rabbit hole?
Yeah, went down the rabbit hole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a children's classic.
It was a trip.
And I think this is a line from the book. We thought it related well to New Year's Day, which is the date on which we're recording this. And here it is. It's no use going back to yesterday because I was a different person then. That's heavy. It's good stuff.
Well, I mean, Lewis Carroll didn't write light things.
Well,
I don't know. I've never read anything he's written.
he wrote about the Jabberwocky. That was kind of light.
The Mad Hatter was kind of light, I guess.
Yeah. Mad Hatter's crazy dude.
Yeah.
But it is no use in going back to yesterday because we were different.
Well, and technically you can't go back to yesterday.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Can't do it.
It's impossible.
But we think about doing it all the time.
Oh yeah. I mean, we always say, man, if I could just go back and I would say this.
Uncle
man,
Rico.
Yeah.
I wish I had an Uncle Rico.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
Back in '82,
If Coach had just put me in, we'd have won that state championship.
I can throw football over that mountain.
Yeah,
I'd think about, Paul's words, right? Forgetting those things that we're behind and pressing forward to those things. We can press forward from right now, but those are the things we can control, right? The now and where we're headed. But this idea of going back to yesterday, it just, there's nothing we can do about those things. Now, we need to learn from our mistakes, right? But that's not what that's really saying, right? It's just saying that, well, I guess it isn't so,
Getting trapped in your
Right.
past is what it's
Right.
warning you from.
well, you
Right.
either accept your past or you become trapped in it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to steal a quote from Lily Tomlin. I'm going to steal part of a quote. So her original quote was, "Forgiveness means giving up all hope for a better past." I think I brought it up on another podcast. I really can't remember.
Say it again.
Forgiveness means giving up all hope for a better past. I would say
that's good.
I would change it from forgiveness to acceptance means giving
Mhm.
up all hope for a better past.
Yeah.
If
you just
can-
made it better.
I think I understand what she means by forgiveness, but to me, accepting the past means you don't, in your mind, keep trying to go back and think, "Oh, if I'd only done this," or if I'd only said that," because it's a ridiculous thing to think about because you can't do anything
Back
about
in
it.
'82, I used to be able to throw a pigskin a quarter mile. Are you serious? I'm dead serious.
Okay.
Watch this.
Oh, this is where he throws it, right?
He throws a
He's got the
T-bone
cam.
steak at Napoleon.
What the heck are you doing?
Coach just put me in.
That's what I'm talking about. I better go. How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over them mountains? Yeah. If Coach would have put me in fourth quarter, we'd have been state champions, no doubt.
No doubt.
See, that's what we do. We do that to ourselves.
Absolutely.
Perfect example. Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite.
We're still going back to '82 all the time.
Back to 82. It's miserable to do that. I think the counseling term for that is ruminating. Why did I say it that way? Ruminating.
Rumination.
like-
yeah.
Rumination. I think that was the word I was going for.
Yeah. That's where I thought you were going. I mean,
Ruminating.
ruminating works too.
I put the syllable on the wrong syllable.
Emphasis.
The emphasis on the wrong
Yeah.
syllable.
My brain is dying, apparently, but what I'm trying to say is that rumination is just miserable because there's no closure to it. But what you shared from that Lily Tomlin quote is, acceptance is the only way forward. And that is a beautiful idea to me, that you can move forward. Just look ahead. And I think the most successful people in life and the happiest people in life are those that have that special ability to just go forward. And the scripture that I'm thinking of is when Jesus was calling disciples and somebody wanted to go back home and bid farewell to his parents or something like that. I may have that wrong. And Jesus said, "No one who puts his hand to the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God."
Yeah. Well,
That's a little different than what we're talking about, but
It
it's
is.
the idea that you've got to keep moving forward in life. And when you stop doing that, you stop living.
Well, and there's only one thing you can control each and every day, and it's what you're doing in that very day. Like, I have no control over what happened in the past, and I have very little control over what's going to happen tomorrow. But what I can control is what I'm doing right now. And if I work on controlling this minute, and then those minutes build into that hour, and those hours build into that day, then I'm controlling everything I can. And if I can live in doing that, I can move forward each and every day with a pretty clean conscience.
Yeah.
This says that it's no use in going back to yesterday. And we know that it's also not possible. But in some ways, we can spend a lot of our time going back to yesterday, right?
Yeah.
If we're either, beating ourselves up about something, trying to think about how I could relive those things or whatever. And it's, I think the reference to going back is, going back in terms of, not moving forward, trying to relive this thing, allowing it, ruminating over it, just staying focused on it in such a way that, man, I wish I could do that over, when the real focus needs to be on, all right, if I've done something I need to take care of, well, let me take care of that thing now, right? And, if it's a change I need to make, let me make that change. If it's a person I've hurt, let me go try to deal with that relationship. So I think there's a difference between trying to learn from the past and trying to go back to the past, living in the past.
And that comes to that part where he says, I was a different person then. And I would say that differently. Not that he didn't have a really good quote here, but I would say it's no use going back to yesterday because I am a different person now. I'm a different person in this moment than I was yesterday because the things that I did and that I learned yesterday
become part of you now.
Yeah,
right?
They've helped me be better today. I mean, you've taken, like you just said, that experience from the past and applied that to today to become a better person. So if I were writing this quote, I'd say it's no use going back to yesterday because I'm a different person today. Maybe
and that's
a
another
little
beautiful
nuanced side
idea
of it.
is that you can become a different person.
Yeah, you have the ability to change yourself for the better and for the worse. I mean, you can change either direction. But that is within your control.
That's
another passage I think about is 2 Corinthians 5:17. If anyone be in Christ, he is a new creation. Just that idea that God can make you new.
It's even renewing yourself every day, renewing your mind
it-
daily.
That's true. Yeah.
Right. And if we have a general philosophy of life that says, I want to try to be a better person at the end of this day than I am at the beginning of it, and you do that day after day after day, then, you do have the ability to be better, right?
Yeah.
Let me, develop new habits. Let me try to get rid of sin in my life. Let me continually strive to be better at the end of this day than I was at the beginning. I'm growing in some way. I'm adding up, something positive to my life. I've created a new relationship, whatever it might be.
Well, and there's a difference between learning, thinking about and taking a lesson from your past and ruminating on your past, right? Because there's that old cliche, those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. So, we all have a conscious knowledge of what's happened in our past. We can't go back and change it. We can't spend a lot of time thinking about it. But if we don't remember something about it, we can't change who we are today. We can't change what we're going to do tomorrow. That's the other side
That's
of
right.
it.
There's learning from it, and
Yeah.
there's just being eaten up by your past,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we can be consumed by our past, because we all have things that we'd like to change about the past if we had that ability.
Yeah.
But we don't have that ability, right? But the fact of the matter is we do have the ability to deal with past things right now.
Yeah. And the philosophical question is, what if you could go back and redo it? Would you really be all that different? And would you be better? It's the time travel problem.
Oh, yeah.
Butterfly
go-
effect.
Yeah.
Butterfly effect. Maybe that mistake led you to a person who has become very important in your life.
Yeah.
Maybe that mistake led you to a new place. That fault created character in you that you needed going forward. I mean, you just, life is too complex for you to be able to fix it.
Well, and who we are today is a sum of the experiences of our past. So to say that if I could go back and be something different, you would never be the same because we are here because of our experiences. I mean, that's what got us to, I mean, I think about my past and where I am now compared to where I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And there's a lot of negative stuff in there, but I'm a lot more positive, happier of a person today because I suffered through some of those things than I would have ever been if I'd have never experienced them. Because our negative and our positive experiences define who we are in this moment.
And all that can be said because of the redeeming power of Christ.
Absolutely.
So he can redeem that past because he died the death that you deserve.
That's right.
And so you don't have to look back on that with regret and guilt, but you can see how it has led you to the present hour, to the person you've become.
Which is why there's hope in Christ. There's hope in the gospel because there is that regenerative, redemptive spirit that Christ demonstrated at the cross. I mean, to be without that would be hopeless. But if you know Christ, if you know the gospel, you have that redemption. You have that ability to make amends, to repent, to change.
I think it's a really good thought at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I do too.
We make resolutions. I don't guess I've done that in several years, but I've done it in the past, and it's an American tradition. But it might be better to work on how you're looking backwards and make some adjustments there with an acknowledgement, I'm not that person anymore. And also gratitude for what you have learned and where it has led you. And then maybe a resolution on taking a step forward, whatever that step may be in your case. You know, it's a little different way of looking at resolutions, but I think that's a good quote for this time of the year. Very fitting.
Thanks for bringing it up.
We could have gone with Taylor Swift.
Please don't even believe.
I'm going. No, I do. This is so deep.
Another Taylor Swift.
We give her way too much free publicity on this.
Listen to this.
I mean, the 33 people that listen hear about her way too much.
Listen, this is a new year, a new beginning, and things will change.
Wow.
Taylor Swift.
There you go.
Those are three just deep truths. Actually, they're pretty obvious truths. This is
and things will change.
The beginning of a year. Duh.
That was runner-up to our passage.
This is a new beginning. Okay. Every day's kind of that way. And things will change.
Things will change.
Say it ain't so, Taylor. Say it ain't so.
We may have to
My disdain for her has just grown over the years.
Well, you accused her of auto-tune on one episode.
She auto-tunes, there's no doubt.
I had to fact-check him.
Yeah.
Does she?
No, she doesn't auto-tune.
I'm going to ask Google. Google knows everything.
Well, Jason, what are you going to do when she's president?
Yeah.
Move.
Swift
Peru.
28. Yep. It'll be Trump and then Swift. I mean, is it all that big a stretch anymore to imagine that happening?
Yes. AI Overview on Google says, yes, Taylor Swift has used autotune in some of her songs, but she said she doesn't use it live. Liar.
All right. I think we've run out of material. Before we leave, let me remind our listeners about our sponsor, Cobb Publishing. Go to cobbpublishing.com and see a plethora of titles you could choose from. In my convalescence, I received a generous package from friends in Tennessee, opened it up, and I was just tickled pink to find a title from Cobb Publishing. This is Out of the Shadows, Women of the Restoration Movement by Angela Mabe. It's almost 300 pages long, and it's the stories of the women in the Restoration Movement, which we don't hear a whole lot of. And there's a lot of interesting stories in there, and their trials and their suffering and their achievements that are often overlooked. So that's that's the type of material you can get there. It's a very unique place. We appreciate all the support that they give us.
And I know this, so I want to throw this out as well. You know, while you were going through this process of your healing, I know you finished, but right before you had your surgery, you finished Sufficient Grace, correct?
Oh,
Yes.
The new title.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Was that when he was out?
Yeah.
But I don't mind pitching it again.
Well, I think having read it, I
Yes.
think it's very good, and I think people should be picking it up at Riddle Creek Publishing whenever it's available,
That's
Or
right. It's
Amazon
coming out
right now.
or Amazon right
Right
now.
Patrick ordered it on air.
That is awesome. I had a small emergency I had to deal with, so I
Well,
apologize.
I'm
for
really
stepping
hoping
out.
the book will help people. It's thoughts that I've had through my whole journey. I'm not done with my journey. I'm sure I'll learn some more things. But there's a lot of scripture in it, and then a lot of personal information. It's the most
really good.
personal thing I've ever written. I would describe it as somewhat memoir. Is that accurate, Jason? Or
You definitely talk
personal
about your
meditations and
experiences, but you
reflections.
also really make a lot of biblical points about it too. You
Yeah,
tie
there's
it-
like giving,
It's
it
really good.
shifts back and forth.
Yeah.
So
it's
I
probably
hope
one
that
of
it
my
can be helpful.
favorites of yours I've read.
It's a little different format. It's 17 somewhat brief chapters and a lot of different things covered, like getting advice from people,
Mm-hmm.
becoming a burden on your family, the nature of the body, the nature of the soul, the nature of the spirit. It gets into Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, all kinds of chronic illness.
There's a lot of personal. I mean, there's a very personal touch to the book.
Yeah.
I mean, you were very vulnerable in your writing, both with your sickness, but also with what you went through with your mom. That stood out. I mean, it's very well done.
Well, I'm excited about it coming out. It should be out the middle of January 2025. And of course, we're going to pitch it like crazy on the podcast. So if you keep listening, you will be able to keep track of that and all the other things that we are into and doing. But the main thing we'll always have is a passage every week. And hopefully we can get the quartet back together next time. It's been nice having everybody here and nice to start the new year. And we thank you for sharing that New Year's Day with us. See you next time.
Follow us on Instagram at passages_podcast. And join us next time on Passages.